Let's finish up our nose. So I'll add the bump like this. Add some, smooth it out, and keep repeating the action. When I want to add holes, I don't use, a lot of people like to use draw brush and draw in like that. This is not a draw brush, this is a draw brush. And drawing like that, and it's nothing really wrong with that, but for some reason I just really like draw sharp. I feel like I have more control of a brush. That's why I use it. Control R and save the file. Actually add a bit more of vertices, so Shift R, 0.015, and we'll go to 600, maybe a bit too much. I want to have around 400,000. Okay, 400,000 vertices, that's good. I don't know why, but I always like to redetail the lips if they get changed. And now on the nose, I'm gonna go to the side view and drag this one out like that. Gonna do the similar to another part of the nose. And now I don't really like the shape. Because the nostril is going a bit too much upward, so I'm gonna drag it back. And play around like that. Now, noses are quite hard to make look good, but I will try to slowly show you how. So first, the bottom of the nose. Let's find a face. There are quite a few of ways of making the nose. Shape itself, I'm going to focus the one which I think should be teaching. You can choose the one you like, but so I'm going to use crease brush, and with quite small brush size I'm going to draw in like that till the nose end, because this part of the nose, which is here, loops inside the nose. Don't forget this area of the nose. You can clearly see in the reference as well. If I zoom in, there's a place that loops in and goes back into the nose. A lot of beginners just leave this part out and make this straight up like that. It just looks really, really weird. Use the clay strips and draw in. Now it can go either way. You can follow the reference completely and connect it to here. Some of the noses can go inside. It would have this separation. Let's use a bit more of grease brush. And on the side, I like to do the same, grease it up. Not with too big of a brush. You can carve in like that. Because if you look at here, the nose is splitted by this. There is another image in here. Let's get them side by side. You can see the anatomy here explained. But I usually like to smooth out this difference in between. And when I look at the nose, I'll try to make it a bit straighter. The nose is not... Let me increase the size. The nose is not straight two lines and, you know, bubbles at the side. The nose is more of a triangle and triangle here, getting this triangle shape. Of course, it can be a bit different with each nose, but mostly of them you can see triangle, triangle, triangle. It's just the size of triangle might vary. I'm gonna use clay strips again and go on the side and draw at the bottom of a nose. Be careful not to draw here as well, because what I want to do is get that triangle more visible, and this part of the nose needs a bit more thickness. You can see that I'm drawing now and I'm getting these weird artifacts, so I'm gonna go back a few steps. And this is the point where we will be needing to use tools. So I'm gonna go in Tool menu, scroll down, choose Advanced, and there's Front Face Only. This way we're not gonna draw on another side of the mesh. And form it like that. I'll form and smooth it out. Now our nose looks a bit better. I'm gonna carve out a bit more of the nose. You can use Draw Sharp again. Don't go too extreme, try to keep it like this. If it's hard for you to shape the nose, and even if it's not hard, but you just like a form of the nose, is using some of the scrape brush and scraping, making this a bit more flat. Some people like to even flatten it up with the nose tip. Some of the stylized noses works really well with that. Let's move it out. I see that the nose is going straight up, which I don't necessarily like too much. So what I do is drag this part of the nose down. With that, this smoother movement into it. Very, very smoothly change the shapes. You can see it looks a bit better. And it's a lot about tweaking around, finding what you want. I'll drag this part down because I feel like the shape is not what I'm going for. And I feel like my point of the nose is a bit smaller in here, so I'm going to drag it up to the sides. Let's move it out. And now I like to use a bit of mask. So I take the mask and draw where the crevice is. Make sure you're on a side view. I will invert the mask and smooth it, invert it again and smooth it. Now, if we invert the mask, we can drag tiny bit in, and we're gonna get this a bit clearer and sharper shape. Square the mask and smooth it out. It's going to look a bit more detailed. Clay strips. Let's go back to our face shapes. And we're gonna be working on this yellow shape. That looks quite complicated, but don't think about all of these lines. Just clay strips, and from this part of the nose, I'm gonna make it a bit rougher so you can see. From this part of the nose, we just go very, very light touches at the bottom, down. I'll instantly smooth it out and fill in the gaps. If you're sculpting a male face, you will not worry about the gaps too much, but on a female, you're always worrying about filling these gaps and making a face smoother. I'm gonna use a bit of grab brush tool just to form the shape. We don't worry about the shape just yet. And our face is looking much better. Now let's move to the ear. Ear is quite simple if you know what you should do. But there's a few tools that can make it easier. I'll use a draw sharp again and just make that sharp line at ear like that. I'll pinpoint my camera down so I can draw in the ear. You can even use Control to draw line on this. And now with a clay strips, I'm going to take out this part of the ear. You can take it all out if you want, because we're gonna be drawing in anyways. Just like that. We can smooth it out. And now, if you look, I have a few of the references put in for ear in here in general. And we can always split the thing into few shapes. So the first shape would be this. Another one. Start from here. And a lot of people forget that the ear bends in itself with this wheel. Clay strips and draw out. I draw from this point of the ear to the almost side of the ear and loop in like that. That's the first shape we talked about. Let's move it. Draw again. And smooth again. I usually like to go into the front view, see how it's shaping up. We draw it a bit on the side, so let's move it out. And I like to use a lot of grab tool. I'll shape this. Use draw sharp to put this bending in the ear, not too strongly. Then with the clay strips, draw in. Smooth out. And with a blob tool, I'm going to draw only on the edge and make that shape. Loop in, wheel, back, and connect.